HotBox podcast.
On air. Folks, another HotBox podcast where we'll be speaking lang. Today I'm joined by Lucy, a traditional healer, Justus will join the queue, and Myrtle from the Dagga couple.
Hi.
Guys, welcome. I hope we get a chance to speak great shit tonight. And also hopefully get some perspective for a change. I think let's jump right into it. While the boys and me were in the city, from what I understand, the ladies in the traditional healers organization, and Lucy, were you there at the Bushbuck Ridge there in Mpumalanga?
I never did it.
No, but you were there, right?
Yes, I was there. We set the alarm and we set up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go through to Bushbuck Ridge. It was myself, Craig, who's our join the queue attorney here in Johannesburg, and Joanne, the stalwart Joanne, who always goes with me to all of these rural magistrates' court. It really was a great day. Our Friday, none of us had ever been to Bushbuck Ridge before. Beautiful, beautiful, low-felt scenery along the way, and we were around a crowd of traditionalists outside the court. Must have been about 60 or 70 people. We went into the court, we waited, we were the usual thing, and then the accused was brought out.
And who was the accused? Where does she fit in traditional healers? Because are there different levels of traditional healer?
I think we fall under one group as traditional healers. I don't know if there is anything more than that.
I think she was described to us as one of the elders of the village, and she comes from a pretty remote village. She doesn't live in Bushbuck Ridge itself, which is quite a big town. And as it turned out, it was a classic snitch on your neighbor thing. Somebody in her family was having something, whatever. So it wasn't a case of the police went out looking for the Dagga, found it in her garden, and then arrested her. Somebody snitched on her. So then the interesting thing was they brought the two witnesses. Well, first they said there was 3 witnesses. One didn't want to put his name in, so he wasn't counted. They brought the 2 witnesses in. The one said she had 9 plants, and the other said she had 6 plants. So then that was immediately dismissed. But we had a recess, and Craig, who joined the queue lawyer, went to go and speak to the public prosecutor, and she said, okay, she'll postpone it. Then we had another break. Then she came back and she said, you know what? This poor woman has got to travel from a remote area to the magistrate's court. It's obviously very stressful for her. So why don't we provisionally withdraw the charges? So that is what happened just before we broke for lunch. And then it was complete mayhem. We came out of the court and we announced to the people what had happened. Charges provisionally withdrawn. She now has to go to Nelspruit Court, which is a brand new high court, opened last year. She will go and get the state prosecution, go and hand it back to him, it's there rooting and we're there to support. So we got in the car and drove all the way back home again.
Oh. Yeah, it's a pity you can't have crowds like that at every appearance.
But you know, each appearance is different. You know.
If the magistrates, if they see the support, I mean, you said the witnesses, when the witnesses went in, they were booed by the crowd.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. And the policeman was going, shush. And the witnesses were looking very
Browbeat.
We were in the court, the whole court empty. Because everybody was there to support. That's nice. It was a really great experience and something that's so vital. And you know, you have all this international drug policy and stuff, but this is what makes South Africa unique. Nowhere in the world in cannabis culture do we have this really, really deep-rooted traditional healing thing with this plant.
Lucy, I'm going to be a bit rude here, but I think your time is so precious with us because we don't always get time with the traditional healer.
I hear that.
So, could you give us a bit of insight? Like, everything's about medicine in a cannabis context at the moment. But if you think about it in a South African context, is cannabis something that has a history with traditional healers? Is it something?
Yes, I think when you talk about traditional healers, I cannot say all of them, but that's where you will get clean cannabis, and it's used to heal other things. Especially, I'm going to talk about me. I'm one person who's using it to cure certain illnesses amongst people. And because I was given that in a dream or a vision, from my ancestors. I don't see myself who will come and stand next to me, a police guy, and say, you are not allowed to use it. I was given it by my ancestors. Why must we have that argument now? And it has been used. It has a history for many centuries. It has been a blend, a good blend for our healers.
Because I've noticed, and Myrtle, I think you're also very fluent with this. I know that there's some bull at the moment, which is basically trying to clamp down on traditional healers and what they're allowed to prescribe as well. And it's against things like white pepper as well. Do you feel like there's this encroachment on being a traditional healer?
I don't know. I cannot be told what to use or not, or to use. Why can't they get something to get rid of this illness from this time? Then I went home. Maybe I was too worried, and my great aunt came at night and told me exactly what needs to be done for the child to be healed. She showed me the ingredients, how to mix them in my dream. Then I woke up, I gave them a call and asked them if they can try our herbal medicine, traditional medicine. The woman said anything that I think might help, they want to try it. Then I did my mixture as I was told. I took a 2-liter bottle to her. Till today, I think she's old now. That sickness disappeared till today.
I imagine
there was, in my ingredients, there was cannabis. There was.
And I think that's completely acceptable in my book. It's legal in my book. So, but I imagine that also in a traditional healer context, you're also aware that cannabis, and just like many other things, doesn't always work for everyone.
No.
And maybe it's not the answer sometimes. Is that something you experience when people say, no, actually that thing's not good for you?
It happens all the time. But when you're looking at the person, we get different messages. If my great-grandfather comes and says, this is the cure for this person, I'll do the cure and give it to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe it's rude to say you won't even tell what you mix there, but the most important thing is to see a person getting hurt.
Exactly. But no, what has always interested me in traditional healing is, and the use of cannabis, is what about the use of cannabis for inspiration and for visions, and not only for healing, but actually using it as a tool to expand your vision.
People are doing that mostly, that they are smoking in my environment. They will say, I connect easily to the other world. It makes things easy for me. Yeah. People are making noise and looking at this high that it makes you. To other people, it doesn't work like that. They smoke, they go straight to their ancestors.
But they do the snuff as well.
With the snuff as well. With impepo as well. It depends where you come from. I'm one of the people who cannot really smoke. Mine did smoke. My ancestors, I'm thinking they never smoked. They don't allow me to take snuff. They don't allow me to. There's a problem with me using impepo also. If impepo is banned, then I was having this little conversation with ancestors right now. They will tell me to move away from that space. I need a clear mind.
I think for me, with cannabis, what was always nice is that even though you took it, you were still aware enough to know it's not working for me. Unlike with alcohol, when you would only find out the next day.
Yes, that's true.
Right. But let's get on to our next topic of the day. So there's a story going around that a company called Tilray has been granted permission to import cannabis products into SA. And what they're touting this as is like it's from the plant extract, a degree of THC and CBD. And there's 4 other countries. But basically saying now, and they've got a distributor here, and we're going to put guys the link, the picture, it's all there. But what they're saying is that this company can now import weed products, medicinal products into South Africa, and that it's going to be distributed through these people, through whatever the chains are. Hopefully we'll get some feedback soon on what it is. But in the meantime, people in your situation, yours and mine, are getting arrested. No matter what our reason is for using or prescribing or having cannabis in our home.
But this tells there is somebody behind this whole cannabis trying to make money.
Follow the money.
while we're busy, wanna do the right thing in our country with it, then somebody somewhere comes and say, let's replace everything that is being done in South Africa and run our own show.
And we can do our own as well. From where is this weed being imported?
Canada.
Is it Canada?
Yeah, no, it's Canada.
The same country who's buying the weed that's being grown in Natal.
Yes, apparently some of the Lesotho licenses are supplying Canada. So it sounds like that there's a hell of a lot of weed whizzing over the oceans going, Lesotho weed going to Canada, Canada. You know, it's very difficult for me. I see this comes up on Twitter, or invariably the minute that the surfaces on social media, it lands up in our inbox. And you just want to have a knee-jerk reaction and just go like, fuck you know. And this morning I just sort of like breathed deeply and I thought, what is going to be the good of having a knee-jerk reaction? But I think that the soldiers out there, the comment warriors, have been doing it on, making our voices heard.
Yeah, DHL must be super busy with all that weed going back and forth. But it is confusing. I'm starting to get the vibe that we must start calling these type of oaks #the Canada East India Company.
Yeah. Maybe it's a good name.
You can ask
about this information that you just got here.
Yes.
How are they gonna distribute it to us? Like people who are gonna buy it? Is it gonna be like nicely packaged, or is it gonna be raw like that?
I imagine it'll be prescription based. So it's a plant extract. Medicine as we know it now, that everyone's talking about, will never be a bud or a raw plant matter again. These are all extracts. Like they make heroin from poppies and everything. They're isolating very specific elements into something that you need to get in your head. You can go buy at this game.
It's not gonna work with me. No. In my world, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work with any of us either.
We want our raw stuff here.
Exactly.
So and we know it, or who is the good person who will be planting, giving us the right thing. Yeah. No nicely packaged. We want that green thing right here.
Yeah.
But for me,
the smell of Africa.
Yes.
The hypocrisy is that why import it?
Yes.
Why not get local? You know, if you want to stay within this legal framework, it just gives a job to local companies.
Oh, somebody's got a cousin, sister's aunt, nephew, somebody's in Canada. There's lots of South Africans in Canada. They've been fishing around. So as we started the conversation, this is money. But it's not bad to make money from cannabis. It's really not bad.
We're gonna get there.
There has to be a balance somewhere.
I think it's the same that I saw in Lesotho. It's just like in countries that have so little to lose and so much to gain. I understand there's foreign knowledge in that, but why can't it be here? Why can't it be locally? Put a bit of money into it. We're not saying fuck it up like farms and things like that and go into all those things, but there are people with knowledge, with long knowledge of this. Why can't we just be involved?
Because they don't take us seriously. They patronize us. They think we're all stupid.
That's true.
Because we're from Africa.
Yes.
Shithole country.
But they still think you are still in the black little bag. That's
exactly
all. But we came out now. We are out now. Yeah. We know ourselves.
I think it's more, there's a definitely component of getting external guys involved. Pull in the money, once again. Create a delayed legal framework of for suppliers. We need to think this through and what the production is going to be, and this is dangerous. So we create this inertia. But hang on, it's legal now from the MCC side to prescribe it. Right? So let's import prescription meds.
I think they're getting their supply chain in order.
For me, the bad thing is to be cynical.
But must we still go to jail? You know, Myrtle, I was actually surprised that a traditional healer can be arrested for that.
I know.
That's
21st century.
It's 2018.
I know. And you know when we were standing
outside, the people when they arrested this woman, they know this has been around for a long. We found that.
But they're just using it for their quota system, and as I said,
but we have been healing. They have been healing. It passed through us now. We are using it to heal.
Maybe the next hashtag is back the ganja.
True.
So, but talking about the bogarting that I'm sitting here longing. Thank you.
Canada just keeps coming up so much. I don't know what to make of it anymore, guys. I'm actually getting a bit Canada out at the moment.
Yeah.
Even in the too. Canada.
Yes, and the thing that is happening when they're transporting that Dagga here, they're going to come up with a beautiful name of a certain drug that they created. Because here we're still calling it Dagga. In Zango, it's still a bad name. We cannot use it. I'm saying I'm going to use Dagga till my ending days. So.
The name, the word.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
yes.
exactly. And Lucy says it so well. His accent is just perfect. I always sound a bit like a bit of a Soti.
You always sound
the good healing that it can do. Even though with us, you mix it with different ingredients depending on what is eating a person. Yeah.
And that means it means high. Is it right? It's
Yeah,
the
it means
original
Intoxicant, yeah.
Well, to Jan van Riebeck, it meant that things that those locals are smoking. But like, Lucy, you brought me onto, this is such a passionate thing, but I've always got to walk around it so sensitively because I must acknowledge that I'm white and that things of apartheid still benefit me and will benefit white people for a long time. But when you look at like American culture, words that were offensive like marijuana and the N-bomb, black culture there has managed to appropriate those words back.
Oh.
And you think like, because we get this a lot, people hate it when you say the word Dagga. They find it so offensive.
What's wrong with Dagga?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Should not
because
be
in Zango.
It's
And we're not going to change the name now because people like are going to jail.
No, exactly.
It's still in Zango, it's Dagga.
So that's why we've got the T-shirt with all the different ways of saying it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no better way of saying it.
Yeah.
on the fields of being shot, you showed legit oats.
Yeah.
organizing.
For sure.
Yes, of course.
For sure. I think it's all
And people on the streets recognized the first one and said, "Oh, you that Dagga coming from Dagga couple thing."
But
So
ultimately,
we're obviously doing some branding, right?
but it's an association. It's just a sound. It's a harsh sound on the throat, but it's an association. And unfortunately, I think the last 40 years, 50 years, however long the propaganda machine's been pushing it, if it says Dagga and you have a photo of it, it's always a greasy, dirty set of fingers holding a
bottleneck.
Yes,
Yeah.
almost.
But I must say, it's very funny when we are overseas and people recognize us, you know, at gatherings, conferences, or whatever, and then they always go, "Oh, the Dagga couple."
It's so very.
And somebody did ask me what will happen if I find that my son is smoking Dagga.
There's
What did you
another
say?
one. What about the children?
I said to the person, he's so old now. We are having this like one-on-one conversation about deep things that we normally don't talk about. I did try to find out how he feels about Dagga and stuff. He told me it was a bad thing. I asked the points that makes it a bad thing. He gave me few, but I said to him, "Do you know that I'm using Dagga? I don't smoke it, but I use it to heal people." Then he said, "There's a lot of things that we don't know about Dagga, around Dagga. Remember, he said to me, where we come from, where we hang around, it's been mixed now with other drugs. Then it makes it a bad thing because of how people behave. It's not a pure Dagga, it's mixed with Nyaupe. Then we tend to be something else that people don't know what to do with it."
That association that's created with other drugs.
Yeah. Guys, next topic. So, let me read this thing first though, before I get too caught up. So, Alicia Brooks, for those of you who aren't familiar, she's a very prominent Cape Town model. And you know what, you got it flaunted. I respect the hustle. So, this chick has been very proud and out about being a stoner, or at the very least supporting the cause, and she holds down her shit. And to be successful in Cape Town is a tough thing. But a few days ago, she made a very interesting post, and this struck a chord with me. So I'm just going to read it out. I hope it's not too boring. So she said, this was right after the Bushbuck Ridge March. "We should show the same respect, or show the same Let's try that again, take two. We should show the same support to those who expect support from us. People on this cannabis scene doing things for themselves and their brand names. Where are you when we are protesting for the plant itself, for freedom? Where's the activism? Or is it all tied to your brand, to your product? Personally, I would drive across the country to support a protest with a good cause. Asking me to push your brand? Then ask for my account details and pay me. That's business. And then she goes on to say how much she respects Jeremy and so on and so on. But basically, the word that came up in my mind was factivism. Because
Activism.
Factivism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if someone can think of something clever, please in the comments. But for me, the concept is you'll find people that love the idea or love to promote their brands on the strength of something that's popular or a wave without actually getting wet. So these will be guys who will be like, rah rah, I'm the finest, I'm the best, I'm the greatest and all that. But when it comes to backstage, it's only staying in their bubble. So I think she was calling out guys like this because she's seen guys like this. And like today, just to share personal experience, a guy mailed me on my brand and he was like, will you support me with this thing? And I was like, okay. But then listen here, I'm very happy to. I play nice, but do you support Fields of Green? Will you? And I got an essay back telling me this and that. I don't want to go into it because this was an angry young kid. But it was very disappointing that you see guys whose first thought when they think about legalization, maybe you see it with Sangomas and traditional healers too, is what's in it for me.
Oh.
You get different things motivate different people.
Yeah.
And speaking for myself, I like to work with people where there's a common set of values and understanding. And it's around the plant very much so as well. But in my case, I think my life has been really touched by the plant, positively impacted. So it's easy for me to be actually involved in it. Other people might not feel that way. For them, it might be, what's the bottom line for the end of this month? I need to do what I can and get some exposure for my brand so that there's an impact. It's not right or wrong. I think it's just a question of the balance and me looking at someone else. What is my expectation?
Yeah.
I think you've got a heart in it, and maybe not. Come 5 o'clock, you go home after work.
I think it really boils down to being able to put yourself through stuff that's not so romantic or so hip, or you're not going to be sharing it on social media. It's in the background. It's not going to promote your brand, and you need to do all of that stuff as well. I mean, I'm totally guilty of not having the best attitude sometimes. I said to myself the night before I went to Bushbuck Ridge, like, do I really feel like this getting up at 5 in the morning? And it was Joanne with her absolutely superb 10 out of 10 attitude, who thank goodness she came with because she was so excited to be going off on this little mini road trip. And so I really salute you. I think that you've got to, some of it is not so lacquer, like doing all the admin and writing all the documents and answering all the emails and all of that. Some days you just, ugh.
Yeah, if I can,
take the rough with the smooth and all that, and and I think activists will go out into the ether eventually one day. I don't think that they're really going to. The true colours will show out in the end.
The sweet spot is if you can overlap your passions and your interests and skills into a field where it's economically viable for you as well.
Well, isn't that the art of life?
Yes.
It really is the art of
life.
life.
Is the plant, you can bring it in, and for me that's the frustration at the moment, is the only way to really make money in this field at the moment, working with the plant itself, is illegal. So you have to step outside of the law to do that.
And you've got to do 2 jobs at once. 2 jobs at once. You've got to have this thing building up with that, and you've still got to pay the rent and feed the family. And
there are thousands of people who are ready to.
Oh, trust me, we don't.
Energy.
I've taken an arrogant approach of like, when people contact me now to say, I'm happy to give you a really good answer to your question, but don't hate about it. Because for every 100 queries that I give a heartfelt response to, maybe one might. So it's really, we get tired of answering, and I think if I can bring up the worst inbox for me, hi, where do I get a license?
Yes. Oh, I've even got a special folder. I've got a special little folder for license. I called it license irritations, and I put them all in there.
Why do I feel like I have been having a license for long?
Of course, there's no such thing as a license.
I think I have been owning that license, and I'm not even scared.
It's like they're trying to put a Dompas system on our consciousness.
Yes.
Fuck off, man. Do you see it as, maybe you do within the traditional healer aspect, where people also just sometimes want to acquire the title, like a noddy badge?
I cannot say each one of us is using Dagga, but to heal.
Fake traditional healers?
Yeah, people who just want it for the title.
Sangoma!
There are so many.
Selfies at the...
I'm not showing that I'm a Sangoma. Nothing really shows. Not today. Today I'm showing I've got my beads. The ancestors who've given me this calling, they don't want beads. They don't like beads. I'm just forcing it to wear beads like this.
Because it looks so nice.
Yeah, and I'll come across a lot of people who will say, are you a healer? And when I say yes, they said, I wish I was one like you. But I came across people, I will sit down there and keep quiet and feel like now this calling thing is being exaggerated here. There's no calling at all, but
so
somebody...
The people who go through Xhosa without a calling?
I don't know, I don't have a training. And
I've come across people who
I don't know that, but as I was in the training, I realized that
it's not easy.
This calling thing is deeper than what people can think of. There's many fake ones. And you'll see when they come out of it, they will change to be maybe a born again quickly.
Okay.
Because
born again Sangoma.
Yes. I don't know the title. I don't know the title, but there's a lot of them. They go to Xhosa 6 months, 3 months there, they're trying to get their ex together. They become born again.
Yeah.
Then you ask yourself, whoever gave a training to this particular person didn't see that this person doesn't have a calling.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to train people. I always ask my ancestors that it's the one difficult job to change a person's mind to face.
It's a huge responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility because you have to set the example yourself. Because I feel like maybe somehow I will fail them. They will look up to me, then let them down. They will change. You know, people hold on to our behavior and things that we do. Then you disappoint them at the end.
Also, then your focus is on your choices that you're going to be teaching.
Yes.
And then the focus is away from the actual healing, which is what makes your heart happy.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I think it's also important to know what gift, what was the purpose of the training.
Yes, know what you're good at.
Yes.
Know what...
Oh, they will even tell ancestors, why did we give you this? We wanted you to go this way. You know, you cannot... I think I'm good with plants, mixing medicine, creating a cure. I've just created a cancer one, even though. But other people are good in healing children.
Yeah,
that's what they specialize on. You have to know what is this ancestors are giving you.
Yeah, I think let's be honest here, as white people, we can often see things that aren't from our culture. It's very one-dimensional. And we were speaking about this earlier, that I imagine with traditional healers, there are so many layers, and I say funny things, but you could have like a Grey's Anatomy or General Hospital or some Sangomas, because there must be so many dimensions to it.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
We were speaking earlier that the Western approach is a very scientific, analytical, cold, hard, clinical approach to the subject, whereas the traditional approach is if I psychologically buy into a healer or into this particular way of doing it, if my psyche is already positively disposed towards this particular treatment and towards this person, then it's very likely I'm going to have experienced something. It might be the placebo effect, but it's real. It's real for many people. Many people, there's a very real measurable improvement. It might not be the molecules that are in that particular piece of plant or medicine that was prescribed. It's the whole experience that goes along with it.
I think the wall is always going to be there, Justus. Looking at how we heal, we sense, we look at you, then whatever, let's say you're coughing, you've been coughing for 3 months, you don't know what's wrong. We already know, it's a common sense that when you go to a doctor, your medical doctor will tell you have a TB or maybe. With us, I had experienced that last year, I think in October, somebody came, he could not even walk straight. He has been coughing, he said to me 3 years. Then when he said that I needed to focus and think, what is this that is eating this man? I said, have you tested everything in the hospital or the doctors? He said, yes. They said I must just wait for my death. I said to him, I'm seeing something, you know I'm different. There's a clot of blood somewhere in your stomach. It's so dirty. By coughing, your body is telling you something needs to come out of the system. I'm not coping. I said, I don't have razors to cut you to take that clot thing that is happening in your body, that is stuck there in your body. But can I suggest you drink this? We'll see how it's going to come out, because it needs to come out. But because now there's a ceremony around that, I need to perform a ceremony to also ask the ancestors to save his soul. He doesn't die, especially in my process while I'm still treating him. I need to be assured that he will live, so that we see the miracle of the medicine work in this body. I did first the ceremony and everything. Then the ceremony went well. It gave me hope that he will live. Then I started giving him the medicine, but because it was so hard for him, I said to him, this medicine normally works for 3 days to 7 days, but with you, we're gonna go for a month. Because this thing has been sitting in your tummy for so long. But I don't know how it's gonna come out. You must forgive me, I don't know how to. Unfortunately, the blood, he needed to vomit blood in the morning hours. That blood, that dirty blood, dark red blood needed to come out. Exactly after a month, it stopped. He started feeling well. Waking, doing his things again. And he's feeling like he's living again, and he can see his future.
Because we see as well, not every medical cannabis story is a win.
No.
But when there are those moments, we have seen people turn their lives around. And this isn't like some evangelical American talking to you saying, heal! We do see people turn things around in that. But we've had a very good question, and Justus, I think, join the queue. You're going to answer this one for us. So, Dane Rodriguez asked, how legal are these BS stop and search routines? So, if I can, I imagine there's two contexts. There's one, you're walking in the street, and there's one, you're driving. So, what happens? What are your rights?
Please correct me, but I think some road stops are operating, have permission beforehand, and they have to actually stop and search vehicles. Other stops and searches, depends on the context. Most of them won't have a search warrant. No, they won't have a search warrant. They won't have legal permission to do so. The only real value to this answer, or to understanding legality, is when you are arguing that in court. You have a defense against that. In the moment, you don't really have a defense. This guy's got a gun, he's got boots, he's got whatever the intimidating technique is. And if you can respectfully engage them and say, is this really necessary? Do you have permission to do so?
You are within your rights to ask for that warrant.
Yes.
If it's an organised roadblock, the main person in charge of the roadblock should have copy of that warrant and be able to show it to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think the key thing here is respect. And doing it in such a way, you don't want to be challenging the authority, especially in the context
No,
of the
and
other one.
sometimes you just haven't got the balls.
Yes.
You know, it's an intimidating situation, just like, oh, you know. So hide it like your life depends upon it, leave it alone.
So I think in an ideal world, you would be driving along and you'd be like, oh, roadblock. You think about the 5 keys in the boot. And you get to the roadblock and the officer says, let's check your situation and your e-tolls and whatever. And he says, can I search the car? You would say, cool, politely, but can I see that you have a warrant for the situation you got going on here?
Yeah.
And you would say, oh, no. And you would fuck off with your 5 keys. But that's in an ideal world. I think realistically, that's not how it plays out.
Film it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Get your phone out.
You are totally within your rights to film it, and
Yeah, hit record on your phone on a little voice recording app
Yes.
from the get-go.
yes, and maybe it's an idea to take. If you will just give me a moment to collect my thoughts here, because I do know my rights, and then you switch on your phone and la la la. But it so depends upon the situation.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're answering the question
Well,
necessarily.
the boot is actually specified. So let's say I'm walking along with my Rasta beanie and my Bob Marley on Max, bad for your ears, Max.
Yes.
And it's lack of my red rose, things are good. And next thing, cop van pulls up and says, spread them.
Profiling.
What happens then? Can I say anything or search me and that's it? Are they
Well,
allowed
you
to
can.
search me?
Well, what happened with a poor young girl in Pretoria a few weeks ago, that's what happened to her. She was just also profiling, but I mean, she hasn't got dreadlocks but she was young. And she was stopped, and she gave them what for, and she landed up in C-Max with roommates. You know, it was like really, which is the main holding cells that as you drive into Pretoria there.
That one Anatias Takane escaped
Yes.
from, or something.
Yes. And Oscar were in there, because when Joanne and I used to drive to the Pretoria Magic, whenever we went past the prison, we'd go, hello Oscar, hello Crater. So yeah, it's difficult.
Justus, I think the question will come to you now. Police are supposed to have a measuring scale of something when they find you to measure it if.
So part of the processing of the evidence would involve having it weighed on a calibrated scale. So when you're in court and you're questioning the validity, you can say, well, there's a calibration certificate of this.
I have seen happening or heard around where I come from is it's not actually to get you arrested for those who went to jail. It's for them to get a bribe from you.
Oh, yeah.
When you get they take you to the police station. When they get there, they said, okay, you are going to sleep over unless you organize some 300 rand or what. They're just, it's just a money-making thing. They know the law around Dagga, but they are not using that law. They want money.
It's invariably there. It's easier because this person who's arrested is caught like a deer in headlights, and 500 rand or 5,000 rand is going to make this go away.
Yeah.
Then
they know they have to release you on the 3rd day or before you can appear.
Well, on that, and I know that you're involved in this as well. We've spoken to a lawyer, legal firm who specialises in unlawful arrests, specifically the assisting people with claiming against the state. The key measure that they look for is the amount of time that you were arrested before you were released, or at least appeared before a magistrate. And that would include some processing time. So they can't arrest you in the morning at 8 o'clock, drive you around the van, and only book you in at 5, 6 o'clock. So and this is maybe then an invitation to the public is, and we're going to be putting this on the Join the Queue site as well, and inviting people to share their stories, specifically when they were kept in custody longer than the law allows. So hopefully next week we'll have that link up to the form, and it's a bit of a survey form.
I think also that legal help, and we really need all the legal help we can get, needs to also just be a little bit more informed about the search warrant thing and the stop and search thing. They need to do a bit of research and maybe add it to their armory of lists.
Correct.
Of things that they look for, because we need all the help we can get with people going through hell out there.
Yeah, and the technical points that he actually pointed out to us as well. Apparently, 94 being arrested just with Dagga in your presence isn't ground for arrest.
Yes.
If you stop a car, here's a joint, you can't arrest everyone in that car.
But
or at least in 94, that was put aside in a constitutional court. One of it was scrapped, or there was a change in the legislation to that. So we want to go on a drive to get that type of information, get back at the system one way or the other. If it's possible for you to institute a claim, these guys are, if they feel there's grounds for that, they're willing to do it on a contingency basis. They take a percentage of whatever money that comes in, so there's no cost for the person going through it. So we're excited about that.
Cool, man. So I think the short answer is, folks, join the queue. You do have rights, but how things play out in reality
in the moment
isn't always what you'll expect.
Yes.
Be polite.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Don't be chacharach. I know it's easy. Stand your ground if you must. Play it safe.
But we also hope that also the police will have to learn all the rules, the laws around it, so that they don't misuse them against us.
More and more as well, sorry, can I also come from the queue side, more and more at magistrates court level, the magistrates are realizing, hang on, this is a waste of time. It depends from court to court, magistrate to magistrate. Jeremy Acton recently sent us a document which...
Well, we're going to get there.
Oh, yeah, great.
Don't spoil the ending.
All right.
This will be pretty heavy shit. Let's take us out of... So, Dan, I believe it's Dan or our other techie, the word of Robin, that came up with the story. Have you ever tried a cannabis lobotomy bowl? So, I guess the idea is to lobotomize yourself, to get yourself too high. And I know we're all from different backgrounds, but even within your context, I think we've all been in situations where we've seen guys get just way too fucked up. Whether it's a bottleneck, or a joint, or a couple of bombs.
I've been just way too high before.
So let's talk a little bit about our story, like our work case story, like the whole world getting high. We'll go around and tell our stories. So just to give you an idea of what these guys rate this lobotomy setup is. So they say you take a pipe, nice pipe, and you start off with a wee moon rock. Moon rock's like weed, squared. Add a couple of little hash balls on it. Add some dank weed, then a bit of kit, and then some dab. And the deal with this though is you've got to finish this sesh. You've got to cash the bowl. You've got to finish it in one hit, or you've got to sit there until you finish it and quickly. So I can't imagine Oak stand up after this.
It's debilitating.
No, this would be like a 500 rand hit.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the lid off the brandy bottle and the whole thing goes down.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
I think that's the same thing, but
Jackass type stuff.
Lucy, have you ever seen situations where, whether it be on weed or wherever, where people are just too far over their limit?
Not really, but I think. Can I tell my story?
Yes.
For me, it was the research. Remember, I needed to know which one is stronger, the cake or the smoking. The pull.
You had to do the rings of fire.
Then just let me pull a lot. I don't know how much is enough, but I think it was too much. Whatever I did, maybe 5. How many pulls were there? I don't remember.
It wasn't a
I
grand.
have no recollection.
Yeah.
And then were you very good?
Everything was just fast forwarded in my mind.
Is it?
I will feel I want to drink tea, but my other mind will say you've already drank tea. Like everything was just forwarded. I couldn't sleep. I remember I could not catch everything. I didn't know how my mind operates for a moment. I didn't know what is right, is wrong, but at least I was lying on the bed. I was lying on the bed. I was not in a crowd.
Yeah, and context determines everything. When you say too high, 2 implies, well, there's some other
I reckon,
result that comes from
shit yourself. But like, what's your personal or something you've witnessed too high horror story?
I've seen a guy my height, double, triple my size, keel over. Poof. That's not a pretty sight.
Sure.
And that is too high.
Yeah.
That's too high. It was responsible from him to have that medical context. And once again, there's some scary stories. Unfortunately, people getting high, and sometimes on the oil. That's a big thing. People take it at night because they can sleep through the night, but they don't want to get up and have a wee and just get up and then fall into the wall.
Whoa.
I think this it's a jackass thing among stoners though, and I've seen some chicks hit bongs like that as well, that I'm just like, whoa, I can't believe this chick is consuming so much marijuana. My story is, and I'll be brief, so our very first big presentation in Cape Town on a rooftop, it was all set up, it was lovely, and we met a whole lot of people that we'd only ever seen on Facebook before, and there was a spliff going around, and I had a few drags, and it was that lank, dank Cape Town cheese. And the next minute, I get handed the mic, and it's time to start the presentation, and I was like,
oh goodness, oh goodness.
that was just me too high, and going up, and then Jules like takes over, and that was the first day we met Verna, Verna, our MC for today.
Yes. I know.
And Verna was just drink water, man.
Share it because it's so hard. There's so much going on locally at the moment that it's so hard to decide when something is not legit, but when it's appropriate to share or not. So I think what we're saying is it's share. Cool
Yes,
to share.
definitely share
Yeah,
it, but
Share
there are
it.
no, my reservations, yep, I read it this morning and I had quite a good think about it, and I think, thank you Jeremy, excellent Jeremy, always bashing away in the background there, adding bits to the legal campaign, but it's not a silver bullet, it's not a silver bullet, it all is exactly the same as the stop and search thing, it depends upon the magistrate.
Yeah.
If you go into a court and you're armed with that, for example, or something that you got from Join the Queue, if you immediately you've empowered yourself, and if you have the balls to stand in front of the magistrate and read that out, whether it works or not, you've given an indication that you're taking charge of the situation, and that's really important. Because a lot of people just wuss out, or they pay their fine, or they do whatever, but
Yes.
it's about empowering yourself. And you will feel good about yourself once you've had the balls to stand up. And then you might even take it so far as you get a stay in prosecution. And we've had people who have gone and stood up in the High Court for themselves with no supporters. For some or other reason, we couldn't be there by themselves in a High Court and got a stay of prosecution. So it's a way of being an active citizen. I'm ranting a bit now, I know. But you can really make yourself feel good. Stand up for yourself in court. That court's there for the people. So yes, thanks Jeremy. Go print that out. Phone Join the Queue Helpline if you want a bit more advice on how to prepare yourself for magistrate's court and whether you're going to have to apply for a stay in prosecution. Maybe you don't have to. Every case is different.
The first prize is to actually have the case thrown out.
Yeah.
And being able to present an argument to a magistrate at that particular stage that he can decide. He can still decide to just hold the prosecution at that stage until they hear, or you can say, slow down.
But be careful of talking for yourself and just lying on about, but you're on a cannabis cures cancer or something like that. No. When you go in and you're going to speak for yourself, which is easy, okay, everybody can do it, just make sure that you're prepared and you know what you want to say. Have it written down on a piece of paper and just read it.
Yes, and that's
fine. Don't try to come and now give them a whole speech, because they won't like that.
And it's once again, it's just being respectful. You're in their space. Some magistrates are really accommodating and friendly and want to give you a chance. Others are real the opposite.
You can swear on the HotBox.
And it's the luck of the draw very often. But just being able to present that argument, it puts a lot of pressure on them to stop it at that stage. And then it's one that we've achieved the objective at that particular stage for the accused.
I wonder if I'll be arrested with that little thing that I have at home.
Yeah, well now they've got you on
Now you're there, all the evidence.
Yeah.
what little thing you
I
have
don't
at
even
home?
It's not a little lion Xbox, eh?
For the matchbox?
Well, I've got to, you know, I know I can be a bit blunt, it can sound funny, but I am deadly serious when I ask things like these. Is that, do Sangomas get access, and traditional healers get access to better grade weed than if I went to the rank?
Yes.
You
I
think,
think
eh?
because we use it to heal, it must be good than anything else that we cannot go and buy it at the corner somewhere within a shady shack.
You know, it makes sense is that if the plant is made seed, then it's taken energy away from the flower to produce the seed, and maybe it's not so balanced. It's different for seed stock, but yeah, I think we've all become snobs. Not that thing where you're mulling it on. Like we always used to do. All Dagga had seeds in it.
Yeah.
So I never heard of Dagga with no seeds.
I think there's a lot of value in actually growing it yourself.
Yeah.
And
I
having
think,
a relationship with a plant.
which I think it will be easy by asking the government to legalize it. That is when we will even know who sells, who are selling, who sells the better stuff. Because now we are standing in the middle who are mixing it with other things that we don't know about. That's why we cannot buy.
Well, the Canadians
But
sell some
now,
great-
but the youth now fall into many traps out here because they just take everything.
And I think that's a big thing, is the lack of awareness. But
Yeah.
guys, that's going to be the cliffhanger for the Lesotho episode, which is going to come up soon. We're going to talk about Lesotho grass. We're going to see pippage. Thank you. It's been a wonderful podcast. Guys, before we go, just a couple of shout outs to some of our affiliates. 420store.co.za, Medical Cannabis Seed Bank, Stone Tree Farms. Please go check our affiliate page. Much love. These are guys who support the work we do. We can't do this work without you. It's me shaking my hands at your window at the robot now, saying, guys, donate a dollar.
I would like to say to people who knows me, who will be watching this, don't look at my dreadlocks and say, I'm a smoke promoting this thing that is happening in my education. I'm saying I'm a healer, I use it to heal people. Even my son, I know he will be watching this. We have to talk about these things. We are not going to go shady about the information that you are getting from your friends. And everyone who feels like they have a heavy chest in the morning they wake up, get a clean somewhere, somewhere, put it, drink it, and kill that heavy chest. That's it from me.
Yeah, it's a good product to shout out.
Guys, please like, subscribe, share. See you next week.